Great to have you with us. Now, security deployment has been intensified by the Ashanti Regional Security Council for the eviction of traders and transport operators from unauthorized sites in Kumasi. It comes after criticism that city authorities are failing to successfully execute their decongestion plan. The revised exercise involves restriction of commercial vehicles from accessing the city center. Nane Aljima visited the Central Business District and files this report.
Prior to the final funeral rites for the late Asante Hima, Nana Efiakubi Ampim II, a similar exercise was undertaken. The racecourse market was specifically allocated to traders for their activities. Many of them, however, refused to vacate the streets, creating worsening congestion, which is partly created by the ongoing Kejitia project. Under the latest exercise, transport operators are restrained from entering the city center. The measure appears to have reduced congestion, but commuters complain about the inconvenience of having to walk long distances to catch a vehicle. Public Relations Officer at the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, Godwin Okumenyame, explains the motive for this move.
And this was done in collaboration with the 24 Transport Union. We all agree that if you look at Bantama, for example, somebody comes to buy something at the CBD and the person is going to Bantama, you cannot expect the person to move all the way from maybe Pampasu to racecourse for a vehicle. And for that matter, we created few arrangements for certain loading points within the Central Business District. If you look at maybe people going to KNUST, obviously you don't expect them to move to racecourse. So we said that around Nankani and Hagan, vehicles committing to tech should load there. Then in front of Boss FM, we said vehicles committing to KNUST should also load there. But however, only 2 cars at a time.
Recalcitrant traders who have resisted relocation are, as usual, at the receiving end. Some people are offering the racecourse lands for sale, and we cannot buy space to trade. This government has treated us unfairly. We are now hawking our wares. There are other categories of buyers and sellers who claim they were not given any notice on the renewed exercise. They are uncertain where they will ply their trade after the first day of the exercise. So, how come decongestion programs keep producing little results? Mr. Okumenyame attempts some response.
That the road network improvement was part of the project, and for that matter, there was a need for us to move the traders who were selling on the pavement around that place. As I speak, we were able to move them for the funeral to take place. We were able to move them, and for that matter, today, the road network improvement around the KJTR is being constructed. Then the third aspect has to do with the congestion that we were all complaining about before November. If you do a critical analysis, a fair, firm, and objective analysis of the exercise, you realize that before November, this was not how the city used to be. There was so much congestion. We've been able to work on it to a certain level that today, if you move to the CBD, the congestion has reduced.
Somewhere in the middle of the Central Business District of Kumasi, this is where a lot of traders are keeping their wares and tables, other stuff they use in trade, with the expectation that one day they will get back onto the streets or anywhere available to trade. It now remains in the hands of city authorities whether they will relent on their decision for these traders to come back to the streets to trade, or they will continue with the presence of military on the streets to keep these women and other traders away from the Central Business District. Reporting for Joy News, Nane Aljima, Kumasi.
From the KMA, let's move to the AMA, because Accra Mayor Mohamed Nije Sowa has outlined the city's resilience strategy to be launched by the third quarter of the year. The mayor said the AMA is focused on building a resilient city that does not only focus on climate change, but on financial and social issues as well. Joining us is Ifra Evans Chinui is at a press conference where the mayor has been speaking and joins us on the phone with more. Ifra, what are some of the strategies outlined by the Accra mayor?
Yeah, hello, Daniel. Okay, so the Accra Metropolitan Assembly launched the preliminary resilience assessment strategy report to have some work towards making the city a resilient one. And when we say resilient, it means to improve quickly or return quickly to good conditions of the problem. So the AMA is focused on strengthening areas like urban mobility, transportation, improving management of flooding, waste and sanitation, and creating an environmentally sustainable city. And according to Mohammed Niajesoa, this can be achieved by getting people with interest to help push this agenda forward. The AMA also has partnered with some other people who are also helping to make Accra a resilient city. So let me also add that Accra is also part of some 35 cities which joined the 100 Resilient City Challenge to ensure that the city is able to absorb shocks and stresses when it comes to social and environmental issues. So today, the focus was on improving these 5 areas: strengthening urban mobility and transportation, improving management of flooding, waste and sanitation, engaging citizens with greater accountability, recognizing and embracing and supporting the informal sector, creating an environmentally sustainable city. So this is what we are going to work with, yes, to get the resilient city that we are looking for.
Right, so from what you've been saying, his main strategies for implementing this would be getting stakeholders on board and getting the people who can help him to achieve this. So what did he say? What did he say in particular about waste and sanitation?
Pardon, Daniel?
What did he say particularly about waste management and sanitation?
Okay, with waste management, I mean, he spoke extensively about it. He said that he needs people who have interest to work with him, because this is a big problem. I mean, this is what we're facing here in Accra. So he needs people to help him to deal with this problem. So he's going to get his men together, get people with interest and see the way forward, to tackle this problem.
Did he say what he needs the people to do? Did he state anything specific about what these people are needed to do?
He didn't specifically say what they're going to do, but he said that he was going to work with them. They're going to work together. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ifra Evans Chinui, for that report. She's reporting there from a news conference held by Mohammed Niajesoa, who is the Accra mayor. Let's move to some other issues. And there's been a new challenge to the controversial Ghana-US Defense Agreement ratified by Parliament last week. A second case in 24 hours was filed at the Supreme Court late afternoon yesterday, seeking to overturn ratification of the deal. The case filed by private citizen Emmanuel Cotton has the Attorney General as defendant. Ashanti Regional Organizer Youth Organizer of the NDC, Emmanuel Broja Jemfi, also filed a similar case yesterday. Now, meanwhile, the minority in Parliament has served notice it will oppose a 2015 Defense Cooperation Agreement signed by their own government with the U.S. The current administration yesterday confirmed to Joy News they will send the agreements to Parliament for ratification. Now, Information Minister Mustafa Hamid has disclosed that MPs are likely to be recalled for an emergency sitting to ratify the deal, which was signed by former Foreign Affairs Minister Hannah Tete.
Believe that they know that this agreement is nothing dangerous to the welfare and safety or security of the Ghanaian people. But of course, I can understand that sometimes in opposition politics, you ought to do things to score political points. So with the 2015 one, we are hoping and praying ardently, quite frankly, that because they themselves signed it, it will be much easier for them to cooperate with us to give it ratification so that we don't jeopardize the current arrangements that are going on between us and the U.S.
But Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak says they will not change their stance. He, however, criticizes Hannah Tete for how she handled it.
Look, when Hannah Tete was going to sign it, who did she involve? She didn't involve Parliament. So why are you saying you? Call the individual that signed it. The person did not sign it with my mandate. I have the mandate of people of Aswansi. They don't have my mandate, regardless of whichever government it is. Those articles that are inimical to our country, we shall oppose it, regardless of who is bringing it. If you bring this one in the same cast, believe it, we are going to oppose it.
What is common to these three agreements and what is different? Let's take a look at this graphical representation. Now, moving on, opposition political parties led by the National Democratic Congress have served notice they will hit the streets tomorrow to protest this same controversial U.S.-Ghana Defense Cooperation Agreement ratified by Parliament last Friday. The political parties, including Hassan Ariaga's All People's Congress, will join the demonstration organized by the Ghana First Movement, even as two writs have been filed as the Supreme Court challenging the ratification. Let's cross over to the press conference being held here in Accra, from where Joy News' Joseph Akable joins us with more. We'll go back to that press conference before the bulletin is over. Now, three teacher unions, NAGRAT, NAT, and CCT, are protesting the manner in which the National Teacher Council is planning to implement the pre-tertiary teacher professional development and management policy that will, among other things, license teachers. NAGRA's President Angel Kabonu told the media the National Training Council has disregarded the inputs of teacher unions, the National Teaching Council, I should say. They have therefore resolved to disassociate themselves from what they call the one-sided policy. They are demanding an immediate sit-down with the National Teachers Council to deliberate on the policy in its current state.
Our protest, therefore, is not against the policy, but the modus operandi of the National Teaching Council as regards the finalization of the document that will be employed in the operationalization of the policy. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, it is factual that the NTC is the body mandated to roll out the policy. We accord it that mandate. We are, however, disturbed that the Council in its determination to carry out this mandate, arrogates to itself unquestionable powers to do it alone and in its own style, without regard to input of other important stakeholders as teacher unions. Ladies and gentlemen, the licensing of a teacher is a very critical document. It is a document that can make and unmake the teacher. We, the teacher unions, will be very interested in negotiating every aspect of that document so that it does not become a tool or a means by which people victimize teachers in this country. If all stakeholders are to own the policy and participate actively in the writing of its success story, this posture of the NTC needs critical surgery. We have already proposed inputs aimed at improving upon the outcomes of the policy in the position paper we submitted to the NTC, the Ghana Education Service, and the Ghana Education Service. Most unfortunately, our inputs have been treated with contempt, giving them a semblance of banality and trite. If the modus operandi of the NTC does not change, the teacher unions will not have any option than to sever relationship with it. We would like to ensure all teachers in the pre-tertiary sector that any attempt to impose any unnegotiated policy on us will be resisted vehemently.
Angel Carbonu, the Vice President of NAGRAT, there ending that story. And you're still watching Joy News today. You want to stay tuned. Stories that we've done so far. The Ashanti Regional Security Council has beefed up security in the Central Business District of the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to facilitate the decongestion exercise embarked on by the Assembly. You want to stay with us because up ahead we'll be looking at theatre, which is one of the most popular forms of entertainment even in the days of the Greek civilization. Now it appears to be a dying industry, but close followers believe it has a potential to blossom into a national economic booster. Will be as the world celebrates Theatre Day. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah puts the spotlight on a young Ghanaian playwright on the path to greatness. Stay with us. We'll be back after these important messages. Glad you stayed with us. Now, a tour by Parliament's Select Committee on Health to 4 registration centres of the National Health Insurance Authority in the Greater Accra region has revealed a lack of logistics and poor infrastructure as major setbacks impeding effective work. As managers of Peshi, La, Osuklote and Ashedu Keteke NHIA offices took turns to address the committee members, it became evident the root of their problem stems from the centralization of their operations, and attempts to propose solutions to resolve the challenges, however, degenerated into blame game between the 2 major political parties. Hannah Odami has more in this report.
Office, the managing director was not available, and his staff did not do a good job answering questions posed them.
In my database, I think it out.
Estimated this year.
Yes, I have to calculate. It's not in my head.
An observation by committee member Kojo Apiakubi about the dirty walls and fans elicited this response from the cleaner.
You can see cobwebs. I mean, this will not cost much. It's just cleaning. I don't know whether there's a cleaner in this office.
Normally, one cleaner is to about 500 clients in here a day.
And for the washrooms, the least said about them, the better. The situation was quite different at the La office. Though they also battle with poor ventilation due to non-functioning air conditioners, which are actually required to keep the printers working, the manager there, Samuel Sowa Oblejuman, had his own mission statement which guided their operations. Lack of ribbons for printing new cards was their major issue. Osuklote had 6 of its printers working, earning them commendation. Their secret, IT officer Daniel Kojo shared it with the committee.
I have gone extra mile to clean the printers twice a week.
Twice a week?
Yes. The printer it's a bit fragile, and the cut that I put in, when it is dirty, it spoils the head. So I go the extra mile to clean it twice a week, and then apart from the cleaning kit we use, I open it and clean some parts of it so that it runs every day.
It appears the staff of the NHIA in the district are available to work, but lack of logistics and their inability to go beyond the threshold of 5,000 cedis per year for the expenditures have become a hindrance in the effective running of the registration. At the end of the tour, Vice Chairman Dr. Nana Ayew proposed decentralizing the offices as the solution.
They are restricted by law not to spend more than 10% of their resources on non-core activity. Building offices in the district is a non-core activity of the NHIA, and the law must change. The law says that you don't spend more than 10% on non-core, and therefore you should also make resources available for them. Scale of preference. If we are not even going to do the toilet for them, can you take care of the air conditions to keep your equipment and not break down frequently, to replace them also at a cost? You understand? Yes, that's the essence of the exercise.
Problem, because when we went to Labadi, the issue was totally different from...
Ranking member Joseph Iletre, however, thought the MPP government was to blame.
Their campaign was on a collapsed system. Unfortunately, they have not done any better. And I'm still saying, we were continuously increasing the numbers, and that is why that is why we were owing more and more. At least a certain level of decentralization. And one place that we've gone to, and they explained, they said that they are waiting for the Ghana card. Health cannot wait for Ghana card.
Let's move to the northern part of Ghana, and the Andani royal family in Dagbon has noted that government's continuous failure to do proper investigation and bring the perpetrators of the 2002 murder of the Dagbon overlord and several others has encouraged a culture of impunity in the northern region. They made reference to attempts by some youth early last week who attempted to occupy the old Gbewa Palace, but for the intervention of the security in Yendi. Let's get onto the phone lines and speak to Hashmin Mohammed, who has more. So, Hashmin, what are the demands of the Andani family?
Well, they want government to do proper investigations that will lead to the prosecution of the perpetrators who murdered the Dagbon overlord and several others in 2002. Now, they are also calling on chieftaincy contractors in the region to stay away from Dagbon issue. They are saying that their continuous interference in Dagbon issue is making it difficult to bring peace in the area.
Hashmin,
hello?
Hashmin, what do they mean by chieftaincy contractors?
Well, they are referring to people who are meddling in the chieftaincy issues in Dagbon, be it political leaders, be it any other organized groups, or the chiefs themselves.
Right.
They are saying that their continuous interference is making it difficult to bring peace to the area, and it is retarding development. Now, this year's event is significant in the sense that it was not only commemorated by only the chiefs from Dagbon. They have the opposing chiefs from the Abudu royal family, some chiefs, of course, joining them to commemorate the day. The regent for Nyang and then some representatives from the Abudu royal family joined in the commemoration today. And together they are saying that it is time for peace to return to Dagbon.
Thank you very much, Ashwin Mohammed Ahmad there in the northern region, bringing us the latest from that Andani family press conference. Let's move on because theatre is one of the most popular forms of entertainment, even in the days of the Greek civilization. Though it appears to be a dying industry, close followers believe it has a potential to blossom into a national economic booster. As the world celebrates Theatre Day, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah puts the spotlight on a young Ghanaian playwright on the path to greatness.
This story is about a young lady who loses so much of her self-worth because she feels inferior wherever she finds herself and in whatever she does, owing to the fact that she is plus-sized. Sadly, she becomes a ghost before she realizes how special and unique she is and how many opportunities she's lost in her life due to her mental slavery. But is there any coming back into the world of the living, or she's stuck in the land of the dead with her eyes water? Characters in order of appearance: Atu Kwabena, Fati, Atu's mom and dad, Fati's mom, and Nana Fusia, the author.
"24-year-old Nana Fusia staged several plays during her high school days at Kumasi Girls Senior High School.
I started writing when I was 8 years, and at that time I was a kid. It wasn't much of a commercialized something. So I used to scribble on paper, I used to write poems, I used to draw and all those things, make illustrations and write stories about them. So as I grew up, I realized I was passionate about the whole writing thing. So I decided to take it more serious. When I was in junior high school and senior high school, I used to do those things. I used to write plays and direct them. But as I got to the university, I decided to take up the commercial aspect. So I started writing and making it big.
Nana has so far written and directed 4 commercial plays. Her themes cut across all facets of life. Presently a teaching assistant at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology English Department, Nana is set for her first novel. She hopes the general apathy to theatre would give way to enthusiasm and serious support for playwrights.
So no one is ready to sponsor you. I combed the whole, I would say the whole of Kumasi. I've been to almost every company for sponsorship, but no one minded me. It's only my third play that 1 or 2 people told me they would come on board. We had agreements and all that, but that was nowhere near enough. Yeah. So I want to be a household name, not only in Ghana, but in Africa and in the world.
Well, all the best to this young budding playwright. You're still watching Joy News today on the Joy News channel. My name is Daniel Dazi. Up next, Emmanuel Abwaje-Riafi comes your way with business.